So now you get a look at the, say completed street. There's still a few more things to do. And then you get a look at the last block that will be done over here. So you get a good view of the cross section. Again, it's another scramble crossing, so you'll be able to cross diagonally with the light. There were cars on it when I stopped here, so you could see how the two-way traffic fits on there. We had a lot of comments about it's not wide enough, but you can see clearly it is. How many of you have driven on it already? All right, very good. I think it looks especially good at night if you're out and about. I'm really happy with the way the lighting turned out. It's LED efficient lighting, but it casts a really bright light without having a lot of glare. So, and the fountains are lit up and the monument signage is lit up. So I think it looks really good. I hope you get to come down and enjoy it, explore it with your family and friends, take a bunch of pictures, get out of the car and walk around and look at the fountains and the artwork. It's really special to see. Parking. So the parking is, we have about 180 new on-street parking spaces. On-street parking is the most critical part for businesses, and we need to have high turnover of those spaces. So we get a lot of complaints about parking meters. Nobody likes them, but it is part of parking management, especially Monday through Friday, to keep employees from blocking out the spaces. So it's a strategy you're going to see most mid to big size cities using. It's not fun, we don't necessarily like it, but we also don't want to have all of those spaces clogged up with our office workers in these buildings. So it's sort of a necessary evil. It's not something that anyone's thrilled about, but it's something that just has to happen. We also got 1 hour free parking in 3 of the garages. So the garage we'll see on Merced Street, the garage that's on Tulare Street just off of the mall, and the Spiral Garage. And then you'll also have businesses that have validation stickers. So if you're going to a business and you're not in a really quick turnaround hurry, we would prefer that you park in the garage. Now you never have to worry about getting a parking ticket if you're in the garages for staying longer than you planned. You don't have to stress about the meter. And that leaves more of the on-street parking open, which is again part of our goal for the high turnaround spaces. So you should be getting free parking as long as you're parking in the lots and the garages. And if the businesses don't have validation stickers, you should ask them why, because they get them at half price. So it's pretty easy and affordable for them to help service their customers. The city will still charge event parking for the Grizzlies because that was part of the bond agreement when they built Grizzly Stadium, that the parking revenue would be a revenue source to use to pay off those bonds. So there's no getting out of that one necessarily. The city sets the parking rates, so it's another area where we have some friction, I would say. We actually asked for 2 hours free parking and they gave us an hour. In hindsight, we should have asked for 4 hours free parking, so we could have gotten the 2. But you know, the parking management is something that now that we'll have more demand, we hope to be able to get more responsive parking management from the city. There are lots of interesting ways to do parking management now with technology. When that development happens that we talked about on the far end where we started, that will release some grant funds that will allow smart meters to go in, so at least you'll be able to use your credit card or ATM card. But in the Pacific Southwest building, there's a local tech company that is doing parking sensors in the ground. So we're hoping that our city will use a local technology company and find a better solution than the parking meters, hopefully, long term. They're testing it out in front of Bitwise right now and also River Park. So I'd really like to see us supporting our local tech companies and also finding the ways to manage the parking that's the most customer friendly. But you know, it's hard in a downtown where you want a lot of people to be packed if every one of those people comes with a 2,000 pound chunk of steel that they want to be able to park there too. You have a conflict between the amount of people and the space that's available, and that's inherent in a vibrant urban space. When I was with the National Main Street program, we found that out of the 2,200 cities that we surveyed, 2,200 listed parking as their #1 problem. So it's not that it's ever not going to be a problem, but through good management you can make it as good as you possibly can, given all the different needs for parking. Yes, ma'am.
Wouldn't you have more parking spaces if the cars were parking diagonally?
That's a great question. Yes. So
it's a great question.
The question is, would we have more spaces if we could park diagonally? And the answer is yes. From a purely revitalization standpoint, I would argue for diagonal parking. The constraint is that you only have so much space between the buildings, and if you want to accommodate cars and outdoor dining and fountains and trees and all that other stuff, something has to give, and so that's one of the compromises that we ended up with. So even though I'd say from a revitalization standpoint, I would have absolutely wanted diagonal parking, but the sense that I have is that the community is very happy with the compromise, and they're happy that we did compromise and not just make it my opinion or someone else's opinion, but that we found a way to work through it together. So just like Washington, right, where everyone compromises and works together, right? So at least at the local level we were able to do that. What else? Yes, sir.
I know that the Crest Theater is not on Fulton. Is that going to be dealt with also?
Now the Crest Theater is a good example. Think how to say this. So I would say that for many decades, the #1 problem downtown, the #1 stumbling block was the city. And then we got the city to redo the streets and this beautiful sidewalk and sculptures, and redo the downtown plans and redo the downtown development code. So I would no longer say that the city is our #1 problem. I would say, remember I work for the Property Owners Association? I would say that the building owners have not invested as much as we would have liked them to at this point. So I would say they might be the #1 stumbling block. So having a building, I go through this with my house. Fix it or sell it, right? If I don't want to fix it and maintain it, then I'm not helping my neighborhood, so I should probably sell it and let someone else do it. And Dan and Veronica would both ask me for that listing, but it's the same here. We need to get to the point where the city says we're going to enforce our codes, fix it, or sell it to someone who will. At the same time, we need to build the economy that will allow them to get the loans or the investors to be able to fix it. So we're kind of going at that with both prongs, both the economic development side, but also we need to let people know there's a certain window, and past that, you're not going to be able to just own a derelict building in the middle of our downtown anymore. Did I say that gently enough?
Yes, you did.
Okay, good.
It makes sense.
Still might have a job on Monday morning? Yes, ma'am.
Are there any play areas for little kids, or if not, plans for that on Fulton Street?
There aren't any specific playgrounds. We did have grants for those, and those are being moved to 2 of the nearby parks. All right. So Take 3 Burgers is going to be up here on our right. They just got their beer and wine license. They also do sell tea and other beverages as well. But I thought it'd be really fun as we finish our tour on the north end. If any of you wanted to go get a burger and fries or a veggie burger or any of their other good items, this might be a fun time to go in and thank Brian Washington and his family for investing in our downtown and surviving the construction, and maybe wet your whistle at the same time. So we'll go all the way down to Tuolumne, but on the way back I think it'd be fun to kind of overwhelm him with some support. And I don't know if Parsley Garden's open across the street. They could certainly use the support as well, but they're generally Monday through Friday. I haven't checked with them yet. But Take 3 Burgers, everyone. And his daughter is working on another business right a couple of doors down from it to do a cider house. So again, not beer, but cider. So we're diversifying our beverage options down here. All right. Don't get run over.